It was almost 12, midnight, while you scrolled through your phone in hopes to find something entertaining. The television's light dimly lit the lounge room while the credits of a horror film played on screen. To your surprise, Shinsou fell asleep well before the end of the movie, his head leaning against your shoulder. He looked so angelic that you forgot about the world around you for a moment. You wondered how you would get him to the bedroom without disturbing him until... You quickly turned your head towards the kitchen. So loud was the sound that you snapped out of your thoughts. Your poor heart dropped as you heard more strange noises from the kitchen. Gently grabbing Shinsou's shoulders, you shook him as best as possible without disturbing him too much from his slumber.
Shinsou! Wake up!
You whispered.
There's something coming from the kitchen!
Shinsou opened his eyes, but only briefly before he snuggled into your neck further, returning to sleep. The feeling of his breath upon your skin sent shivers down your spine, but you decided to take matters into your own hands. While you gently laid Shinsou onto the couch, you fumbled around and located a small flashlight in a drawer by the television. You turned to Shinsou's sleeping form and pouted slightly.
Oh, you'll regret this if I die, jackass,
you said, slightly annoyed. You walked towards the kitchen cautiously, taking note of everything you spotted along the way. If anything, you were paying more attention to anything that looked out of place.
Man, this whole pro-hero thing has really gotten to my head,
you thought while you still inspected the kitchen. So far, everything was where they should be. Nothing looked misplaced or broken as you swung the flashlight around the room.
Oh, maybe I was hearing things,
you mumbled before a dripping sound caught your ear. Following it, you shone your flashlight towards the sound and spotted something glisten on the hardwood floor, dark and viscous. Blood? Suddenly a pair of pale feet appeared in the reflection of the window-paned glass door in front of you. There in your reflection, behind you, stood a pale-faced woman, crying blood in the cold, dark kitchen. You gasped loudly before you turned around with your flashlight, finding nobody. Waving the light in your hand frantically around before you rushed towards the main lights, switching them on. Looking around the kitchen again, you noticed that nothing was out of place. The blood on the floor had disappeared, and with your back to the entrance, you were the only living soul here. You sighed in relief. Perhaps you were just imagining things. Maybe the horror film got to your nerves after all.
What are you doing up so late, kitten?
A familiar voice spoke from behind. A sigh of relief escaped your lips as the adrenaline began to wane through your body.
Just thought I saw something,
you replied, turning around towards Shinsou.
Well, I heard something first, but I think someone's in the
You froze in place. You expected Shinsou to greet you with his usual heavy-lidded tired eyes, even his grimace. But instead there stood the crying woman. You felt the fear crawl into your shoulders and into your heart before you screamed. The woman, with a push of her hand, sent you flying across the kitchen, hitting the floor and into the glass doors with a thud. The main lights then went out, while you groaned as the air from your lungs escaped from the sudden crash. The woman rushed towards you with a creak in her limbs and a shrill in her voice. You couldn't read its mind, as if it were a void, and so you shut your eyes and involuntarily screamed again, holding your hands to your head. You waited for this thing to reach you, grab you, before your scream was covered by a large hand.
April Fool's, kitten.
You slowly opened your eyes to find Shinsou. Your Shinsou, crouching in front of you with a slight smirk on his face. You grabbed his hand, pulling it down from your mouth and staring at him firstly with relief, and secondly with scrutiny.
It's not even...
You started before you spotted the clock on the kitchen wall. 1:24 a.m. April the 1st.
Wait, I've been down here for an hour? You weren't asleep on the couch? You're telling me you did all of this?
You progressively questioned before Shinsou pulled you up from the floor.
Yeah, it took you a while. I was asleep and thought you would go about your night like usual, so I planned ahead. But everything happened earlier than I expected.
The creak of the mannequin in his hand echoed in the kitchen, causing you to slightly jump from the sight of it.
Well, you did a good job, huh?
You nervously chuckled.
I mean, I'm curious how you made all of those noises in the kitchen without any assistance.
Noises?
Asked Shinsou, his eyebrow peaked in confusion.
What noises?
Your eyes widened before you felt your heart pound faster in your chest.
Wait, that wasn't you?
Shinsou, still confused, shook his head.
There's better not be more April Fool's jokes, Shinsou. I swear to God!
Needless to say, falling asleep that night was an interesting experience.